want to answer each other's questions. The conversation needs to be limited in a structured way to Hassan. Are you asking the first question?
No.
Okay, so Malik?
Yes.
All right, Malik. So Malik and whoever he asks questions to. I will let a second witness answer the question if you want to. What that looks like, though. So say Malik asks Stefan a question and Jenny wants to add on. Jenny waits until Stefan is done. Then she raises her hand. I call on Jenny and she adds on. Okay. The reason I don't want you to raise your hand when another person's talking is, to me, that shows you no longer listen to what they're saying and you're just worried about what you're going to say. Okay, so wait until they finish, then raise your hand, and you can add a second witness if you'd like. All right, so Malik, first question, please direct it to a specific witness.
How many questions can you ask?
Max of 4.
I asked one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask Erica about slaves. Like, since slaves can move up, what's the problem with being? I mean, being a slave is bad. Being a slave is bad, but if you can move out of being a slave, then why is it that bad?
Wait, what?
If when you're a slave, even though that being a slave is not necessarily the best thing, even if you can move out of it, why is it that bad?
So if you need to ask someone to clarify, just say, could you clarify your question? I'm not sure what you just said.
Can you clarify your question?
No, I'm doing that for your argument. Go ahead.
Can you take a lunch break?
Nope. Alright. So, Lily, just rephrase your question. Okay.
That's not a question.
Alright, I'll go first. My question was, what about being slaves, or being a slave is bad?
That you'll be working with a pharaoh, like working for the pharaoh. That you'll be working for the pharaoh.
Okay. You know that slaves built the pyramids, right? Okay. In the achievement section, it says that they were treated well. Let me find it.
So let's go there. Go to achievement.
At the back of the achievement section, right side, it says that the pharaoh provided homes for everyone who worked on the pyramid construction. People were paid for their work, and goods, food, and homes. So it's not like they were just slaves; they're just doing work. They were paid in goods, food, and home that they could live. And that's added on the fact that you're gonna move up and not be a slave anymore. Being a slave is a bad thing. The name slave is a bad thing, but they were treated well.
Your question?
What?
What's your question?
My question? I like to, what?
So, Hassan, go ahead.
Does she understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. My next question is that, the job inheriting, wait, no. I want to talk about the job inheriting system. Can we please go to economics?
Let us get there. So don't start talking until you see we've kind of gotten to that page.
Okay. So now I'm putting my question for Stefan. Don't you agree that it's fair that people can be what they want to be in economics or have their own jobs? For example, if you were a scribe, you can move up the ladder and work for the pharaoh. It also said that if your father was something, you had to be that. But then it said that there were some exceptions. Like, if your father was an artist, you could be an artist or you could be something else. It doesn't matter. So do you now agree that, Egypt was civilized civilization?
I was already for civilized.
You was for civilized. I'm sorry, you didn't state that.
I did state that. As I said, also each job is an important factor that tied into social structure, which ranged from high class to lower class. Each class had its responsibilities, and each responsibility was a part of economics, which not only shaped ancient Egypt, but showed and proved how civilized ancient Egypt was and how similar it is to our own through economics.
I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't state that. got the two.
Last question.
Thought you said 4. I asked 2.
Well, Malik's question was 1.
That was a sick question.
Gotta be prepared. You don't get your 50 minutes in court. Gotta be prepared. Last question.
Okay, who's dealing with religion? Can you turn religion, please? I want to clarify something. Are you for or against?
I'm not for. I'm not positive.
This side.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't you agree that it's fair that now all people can board the Rise Magical Boat?
No, because people.
That's not fair. That all people can board it.
Oh, well, yeah. People would think you smart, like they could just take a grade.
No, I'm asking. They can all ride the boat. Don't you think that's fair?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, we go to uncivilized. Okay? 4 questions. One thing, so it's happened in each of my debates so far today, that you ask a question and you're making your point, son, and the witness can't really answer it. It does happen sometimes in a grand jury trial that you ask a question to a witness in order to stump them. And we're not trying to make anyone look silly here. But if you ask a question and they don't give you the exact response back, that may be an indication that you've asked a question that makes a really good point. Okay, so, if you ask a question, they ask you to rephrase it, you ask the question again, and again there's no understanding, maybe you may already made your point through your question. Okay, it's just another technique. Right, so Hassan this time, he kind of pretty much made a statement towards Erica that wasn't a question. We'd rather it be a question, but he's still making a good point through that statement. Okay? Uncivilized.
But what I have to say, I don't really know how to phrase it into a question.
Okay, then I probably would let Jasmine go first and do your thinking, and then go next.
Gotcha.
A question for Stefan. Like, you're pro, right?
Yeah.
So like, you agree with Hassan?
My name's Hassan.
Shut up, Hassan. that it's fair for like if your father was like an artist, the son has to be an artist.
Well, not every civilization is perfect. They all have their different faults. So, like in this world, if you don't pass your grades in certain classes, you won't be able to be promoted. I mean, you can't really argue. Well, you could try to make a change, but you can't really argue with some things. I say civilized because mainly because of economics. I'm not saying that's because of that. There's just different points. Each civilization has its faults, and which is not perfect.
But can each but in the economics, can everybody profit off of every trade or good equally, or does everything have to be given back to the pharaoh?
Well, as long as you're able to move up the social pyramid that we see and social structure, yeah, it's fair.
How are you moving up in social structure?
Well, as it said, the third paragraph in social structure, the Egyptians are not locked into the social classes. It says that. So that means if you were working through success or marriage, you'd be able to move up.
But not everybody is gonna move up if you marry somebody who's royal, because not everybody is attracted to each other.
Doesn't matter as long as you're. It says it's not only through marriage; it's through your success in your occupation.
But how are you gonna move up in success if pharaohs
Like
always
so, in this civilization, we move up through. So for example, their job. Depending on how good you do your job, you get promotion. Like from like a regular. I'm not too sure on this point, but from a regular worker to like a CEO, a cop, like a regular cop that's on the streets, a sheriff. It's you just get promoted. That's just how the system would work. It's not.
Okay.
Next question, please.
My question is, when in politics of government, in the third paragraph, it says, in ancient Egypt, the only title that really mattered besides the pharaoh was advisor. That's what you say.
Yeah.
So how would that affect the entire population if only 2 people mattered in the whole country?
Because people, I don't know, like, the only 2 people that mattered was the pharaoh and the vizier. So the
Wait, what
people
are you
that it
arguing
matter.
for? What are you arguing for?
I don't know.
So just to interject, I apologize to interrupt. Our experts don't have to take a stand, right? So it's not like, Erica, you have to prove Jacob wrong. If you agree with them, you agree with them. And it's these guys' job to now deal with the point Jacob's now made. Okay?
So yeah, I agree with you saying, because only two people matters, and then the rest of them don't. So,
Two more questions.
Two.